wants to join, then they can join or watch the recording or whatever. So Gemma's starting to record now. Bro. So basically, every single day I try to do there we go. I should have unmuted myself. Can you hear me again? Yeah. Okay, so every single day I try to do listen to a SoundCloud, because it really helps my mindset for the day. So in the morning, if I've listened to a SoundCloud, if you go onto the SoundCloud app, it's completely free, and type in Arbon, and then loads of trainings will come up, and you can search like what you're particularly interested in, sponsoring, social media, whatever. And you know, you can pick out what you want to listen to, and it really sets my mindset, because they're obviously really inspiring, really inspiring trainings. And if you listen to one in the morning, it sets how you feel for the day. You think, yes, I can do this, as opposed to waking up thinking, oh, I haven't really spoke to people like over the last week, like what am I going to do? So it's good to get into that habit. Okay, so the main training that this is based on tonight is one by Stuart Armfield, but others as well. But I think what's really interesting about Stuart Armfield is I really follow his journey, because I think he's really inspiring, actually. And his journey from district manager qualification to executive regional vice president. So let me just tell you these figures, right? Because I think this is important to know how the compound effects work. So if you've not read the book Compound Effect, read it or listen to it. So in January, he just got into DMQ. So before January, he was really down in the dumps. He felt like it was all going wrong, like he didn't know what he was doing, not really much success before. So in January, by the end of the month, he got into DMQ. So after he'd done all this goal setting, he got into DMQ. So that's probably about 1,000 QB. By the end of February, he was in AMQ. So that's 10,000. So in a month, he'd gone up 9,000, okay? In March, he was in region qual. That's 40,000. So we're talking about each month, one after the other. And then in April, he was an executive regional vice president. So that's probably, I don't know, 60,000 or something like that. He's on his way to nation by that point. And then I don't have the figures when he completed nation, but I think that in itself shows what is absolutely possible. So when I was listening to some trainings on him, I've just made some notes on things that I think sort of helped me from the training. So he talks a lot about taking action on knowledge, not just reading books, because I think we can all say, yes, we'll read 3 books a month or whatever it might be, or 1 book a month, whatever. I've read tons of books, I know all the skills, I know this, I know that, I'm just keeping on reading. But if you don't actually action on those, like whether they be personal development books or whether they be skills-based, if you don't take the action, then it's no good. Like, you need to be using that knowledge to help push you forward. When people say about making the decision, I'm sorry I'm going fast, by the way, but I just want to cover quite a bit. So when they say about making the decision, that is like super important. And I never got this. It's like, what do you mean making the decision? Of course I want to be an area manager or region or whatever. But it absolutely does make a difference, because it's not just about, yes, I want the next level. It's about, yes, I want it right now, like this month, next month. I want to get into qual this month. I want to complete next month. That's making the decision. Making the decision is saying to your family, I'm not going to be available at these points throughout this month, because I will be completing area manager by this month, or district manager, whatever it might be. So you throw yourself in 110%. It doesn't often just happen because it just happens. Like, you've got to make that push. So he said, like, obviously those figures that I've just explained to you. So in January it was DMQ. In April it was an executive region. Okay, so what did he do to make that change, like to make that massive change? So he said he spoke with conviction, not desperation. Okay, so he was super confident. He wasn't desperate. Now, this comes when you are speaking to several people, not just a couple of people. This is loads of people. So when you're talking to so many people that you have to write lists and lists and lists, which is what we should be doing anyway, of who you're speaking to, then you're not going to come across desperate. You're going to come across as in, this is an amazing opportunity. Like, you know, with conviction, like, you know how incredible this is. It's not about, well, you know, if this works out for me, then I could get, you know, this a month or whatever. It's when I get this. You know, for me, it's when I get to this level, I'll be having a property portfolio. and I'll have this for my children, and I'll have that, and it'll be a willable business and this. So that's how I talk. He says he made more calls. It sounds stupid, but it's as simple as that. He made more calls. He did more work. He met with more people. He says, his words, he created chaos everywhere he went. So he never missed an opportunity. That's what I take from that. He never missed a single opportunity. It weren't like, oh, I'm going to this place now, whether it be a wedding, the supermarket, whatever. He made every opportunity count. He spoke to people who he thought were too good for the business. So previously, he said, oh, she doesn't need it. She works in, I don't know, she's got a really good job. She's got a corporate job. She earns lots of money. Why would she need this? She's too good for Arbonne. No one is too good for Arbonne, because who wouldn't want to be on the wage of an MVP? Who wouldn't want that? I don't care how much money you earn. Even if you gave all your Arbonne money to charity, I don't know anybody who wouldn't want that from a side gig. He says you need courage, not confidence. And I think this is quite a good one, actually, because some people say to me, I'm not as confident as you, Claire, so I can't do it. I'm not as confident as you. And actually, he says you don't need the confidence, you need the courage. If you have the courage to speak to somebody, and just even if right, I'm being brave now, I'm going to go speak to that person because I think this will be really good for her. I think she will be really good for our mom. If you have the courage to do that, then that's the difference. You followed the system, and every conversation is different. Just go out and do it. So sometimes we're like, oh, I don't know how to word it. We get caught up on perfect wording and all this lot. And actually, you should just go out there and just say what you think. Because if it's not right, it'll be right the next time or the next time or the next time. But if you don't do it at all, then nothing is going to be gained. So sometimes we can sort of procrastinate because we're not sure on how to word something or how to say something. But often it's just best to give it a go anyway. You will know why it's not working. So if you are in this position now at this training and you think, I really should be in DMQ, or I really should be an area manager, or I really should have completed district by now, or whatever it is, you will know the reason why you're not there yet. And I really don't want anything that I'm saying tonight to be sort of a negative. It's supposed to be a positive. Find the little bit of weakness that whatever is in our life, because everybody's got them, and create that into a positive and a better action, like turn it around sort of thing. So if you were to look in the mirror now and say, right, why am I not where I want to be right now? You will know the answer to that question. Not your sponsor, not your people in your team or wider team, whatever. You will know. So use that information and push forward. Then phone your sponsor and say, this is my weakness. This is what I want to do to get better. What do you think? And then they can support you. You have to be uncomfortable for a certain length of time for to become comfortable at it. So, we talk about like stepping out your comfort zone, and that's where the magic happens. Like we hear that all the time at training. There's something in that. So if you're out of your comfort zone for so long, so like at first I was like, oh, when people ask me what I do for this bit, like what my business is about, I'm like, sorry, I'm just closing WhatsApp. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to say. Like, do I say about products? Do I say about business? And that used to be me. But now I feel like I'm totally different. So like, if Millen's on tonight, she'll know what I'm talking about. And my team, because I voice noted after. I was at a baby shower about a month ago, something like that. And this lady, who I don't even know very well, had heard me at the bottom of the table talking with some people about my business. And she was like, so what is this business, Claire? Like, what do you actually do? And this was across the table with like 10 people. And I just had to be brave and just say what I thought, like do the best that I could do, because that is all I can do, isn't it, at the end of the day? And luckily on this situation, I came out thinking, yes, nailed it. But there's been a million times where I thought, totally did not nail that, totally cocked it up. Oh my God, they'll never talk to me again. I sound like a complete loser. But that's fine, because, like gently, softly, we carry on with the exposures. It's totally fine. They'll see that I'm not an absolute lunatic. So no negative self-talk, okay? Because we're so guilty that like I'm totally included in this, like all areas of our life, not just Arbonne or whatever. Like, oh, I wish I was a better mom this week. I've been a bit shouty, or I wish I was a better sponsor or whatever. We don't need to be like that. You won't talk to your friends like that. So if you think about what you're saying in your head, I'm no good at this, I'm no good at that, would you say that to your best mate or your sister or your brother? You wouldn't. So don't say it to yourself, because it doesn't do you any favours. It doesn't serve you at all. So forget that. Just talk to yourself, just sort it out. So as soon as that comes into your head, you're like, actually, Claire, you're a really good mum. You're trying your hardest. The kids are doing your head in. You know, crack on. Whatever it might be, just move on with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, because obviously we don't have that much time, I'm going to quickly go through what Stuart Armfield did in this training of goal setting. So when we do goal setting, we normally say, right, what's our goals? Okay, so I'm just going to talk from me now. So what's my goals, Claire? Okay, I want to be an area manager in the next month or whatever. But you know, we know, like, the training, like Caroline did a brilliant training of breaking down QV and stuff like that, and that is super helpful. But actually, my goal of area manager is affected by outside influences, such as I've got a 3-year-old and a 17-month-old, I'm a wife, you know, if he works away, all of that affects my Arbonne goal. So this goal setting, what Stuart Armfield did, really looks at the whole wider picture, and it's more intensive. So there are a few points, I'll warn you now. And don't feel like you need to write it all down, because I've got my notes and I'll just take some photos and I'll put them on the Facebook page so you can have a look properly later. So I'm just going to sort of whiz through them a bit. Okay, so really what you need when you do this is a quiet half an hour or something with a notepad, and you need to just get this up on your phone and just write it as you're reading what I've written on my notes, just right by side. Okay, so number one, biggest success. So if you look at the past however long, so it might be the last year, the last 6 months, whatever, what are your biggest successes? And that's what you write down. Then you would write down, for number two, what are your biggest disappointments? And again, we don't often say, oh, our failures or our disappointments. I think it's important, like when I was listening to this training, it's really important to recognise what we're not happy with, because unless we recognise that, we can't change it and turn it into a positive thing. We can't change it into a success because we're not recognising it. So number two, biggest disappointments. And then number three, what did I learn from this? So look at the successes, look at the disappointments, and see how did I learn from that. So this is all what's happened over the last 6 months or year, whatever. Then we need to do the guidelines, 3 guidelines to stick to. So now when we're talking about like so we're all wanting to achieve this goal, whatever it might be, whether it be a promotion goal or whatever, or an earning goal, or however you want to do it. It might be I want to get to 500 QB, or it might be I want to be a region, whatever. 3 guidelines for this next coming 6 months or year to stick to. So it might be read 2 books a month. It might be listen to your gut feeling more. It might be, these are just some ideas from mine. It might be track activity. So if you've listened to the compound effect, this is quite important, I think. He says on there about tracking activity, and he says, if you track like the smallest activity, it actually makes a bigger effect. So say like when you're trying to lose weight, for example, if you track every single thing that goes in your mouth, you'll have eaten at the end of the day more than you actually think you have. And also you'll be thinking, oh, I'm not going to eat that bag of crisps now because I need to write it in my book, and I don't really want to write it in my book. So he says if you track an activity, you'll become better at it. So for example, in Arbonne world, if you were to track all the people that you spoke to in a month, and you know you're tracking it obviously, and you look on your thing and there's no names on it, then what are you going to do? You're going to fill the names in, aren't you? And it's the same thing. So I think tracking activity is super important. Number 5, how did I limit myself last year? So I've put things like poor planning, write a schedule each night for the next day, that sort of thing. Number 6, what areas of my life am I not achieving what I want? And again, this is just to create this positive outcome that we want. We need to see what we're not happy with, because it's going to be better for this next year. What explains me not achieving my goals? So whether it be I'm not working at set times, and that means that I'm not working enough because I'm not setting out a timetable for work or something like that. And then from this, create affirmations. So an affirmation, for those of you who don't know, is a sentence that trains the subconscious mind into thinking that you have already achieved in present tense. Okay, so you're training your mind to believe you're already there. Claire, you are an area manager. You attract people, successful, motivated, determined people into your Arbonne business every single day. That sort of thing. Oh, that's what I had written for my example as well. Okay. Number 9, what roles do I play in life? So for me, daughter, mum, sister, Arbonne consultant, wife, it might be, you know, do your other job, you know, there'll be a ton of roles. So out of those roles, prioritize them. Mum, wife, Arbonne consultant, whatever it might be. And then go back over the list and give one focus that will improve each role. So this is about not just focusing on Arbonne. This goal setting training is about looking at the bigger picture. It's about how can I feel now, for example, at one point in my business, I don't now, but at one point I was thinking, I'm not as good a mum as I want to be because I'm trying to do this business. And it was the big all and end of it was because my planning was poor. So I was doing it when the kids were around and I shouldn't have been. And so I was like not doing anything properly, not being a mum when I wanted to be a mum, and I was not being a consultant when I wanted to be a consultant. So this is the sort of thing. Look over the list and give one focus that will improve each role. And then he set out some headings of goals. So finance and wealth, career, free time, relationships, personal development, community, and health and appearance. And with each of those, because those are like the important things in our lives, I think there might be some additional ones that you want to add or whatever. But in those, write in those headings what the goals are. So it might be finance. You might have an earning goal. I want to be earning X amount of money by this month, you know, whatever, November, whatever. Career goals. It might be the full-time job that you've got, those goals, and it also might be the Arbonne job that you've got as well. Free time. What do you want to do in your free time? Do you not have any hobbies at the moment and you want to have hobbies? Relationships, personal development, you know, whatever it might be. And then you go over that list and you highlight 10 goals of the most important. And those goals, those 10, are what you are going to achieve in the next year. Like without a doubt, there's no question about it. So you need to write these 10 out and you need to stick it above your desk, on your fridge, whatever. And those are the ones that you're going to be ticking off as you go along, saying, yes, done, 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 done. And then when you do this exercise in another year, your successes will be all of those. And you'll have another load of goals that you want to do on the back of that. Does that make sense? So I actually got through that a bit quicker than I thought. So that's good. So he gives a list of books, what he says he absolutely loves. And actually, there's a lot on the list that I've already read and I think are brilliant. So I'm just going to go through a few of them as well. Again, I can take a picture if you don't sort of catch them and write them down. But I think we all know about like GoPro 45-second presentation. These are like the basic books. So if you're new and you haven't started reading yet, definitely GoPro 45-second presentation for the basic principles of like network marketing and like how to get into it, how, you know, the best way to go about it, that sort of thing. Making the Shift by Darren Hardy, as we all know, have got a free, I don't know, is it on YouTube or something? There's like a free downloadable link. Yeah, Gemma's nodding. Yeah, there's a free link that you can access that. The compound effect and the slight edge, really about what I was talking about when you like track small activity all the time. You see like it rolling, you know, if you were to save a penny every single day, that sort of thing, they're really good for that. It puts it in perspective. So some other ones, Success Principles by Jack, I think it's Consfield, I can't read my own writing. Beach Money, Dare to Dream, and he says Anything by John Maxwell because he's absolutely amazing. The 5 levels of leadership was one that he pointed out. Again, like all these sort of help with goal setting, but I think for me, like, I'm a bit rubbish when it comes to the actual sort of admin of goal setting. I'll be like, yeah, I want to be, you know, area manager, or I want to be a region by this date, or whatever. I don't ever write anything down, and the only thing that I do write down now is, you know, like activity or whatever. But I think if you go through an exercise like this, and I did, and I found that it really helped, and that's why I said that I'd do this tonight, because even though it's fairly extensive, there was what, like 12 points or something. You really become clear on what your successes are, what your weaknesses are, and it makes you look a bit more internally. So you think, actually, you know, I'm not the best I don't know, mum that I want to be right now. Like, I know I can be better than this. Why is that? Like, what is it that I need to change? Because I know that when I am better at that, I'll feel loads better, which will actually really help my Arbonne business, because I'll be more confident and I'll speak with conviction and I won't sound desperate because I will have done the work, because I've had a better schedule, whatever. There's a knock-on effect for everything. So when I looked at my list, I was like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense now. Whereas before, I sort of felt like it was all fuzzy in my head. Sometimes when you write it down, it actually makes a bit more sense. So I think I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to cover. I know it's been like super speedy. The chat has been going a bit crazy. Is there anything that anybody's asked me? If anybody wants to unmute and ask me anything, that's fine. Carol, you have to believe where you are going. When I was a consultant, people asked me what level I was going to be. Yeah, I mean, Carol, I'll be a region by December. It gives me goosepimples when I read that, because you literally was bob on, weren't you? I feel like that. What did you say, Claire? Jane, what was that about? Was that about the baby shower? Is that what you was asking me? I'll just carry on reading.
Asking a bit in relation to.
I've just unmuted myself.
Hi, Jane.
Can you hear me? Hi, yeah. What did you actually say to the woman at the baby shower?
Let me just see your face. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Oh, I can't remember word for word. I said something like, put me on the spot now. I said something like, I tend to go down the whole business. I don't really talk about the products unless someone's specifically telling me a reason why the products will be good. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone's like, oh, really feeling healthy and I want to lose weight, and obviously I'll talk about 30 days plan. But generally, I talk about the business a lot. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, Jen, like, I'm still learning, you know, I get better and better all the time, but I feel like I'm a million times better than I used to be, which mainly means I was really bad. But I think I said something along the lines of, basically, I help people build an asset in part-time hours. And I just sort of paused, and she just sort of looked, and I said, so I teach people in part-time hours how to build an asset around everything else that they do in their life online, and that gives them the capability to have a willable business and to earn crazy, insane money every single month. And she was like, right, okay. And I said, so if you think about it, like, the company pay me every time I train somebody. This is how I normally, like, I say it better than this, but this is a rough idea. The company pay me every time I train somebody. So if I work 10 hours and the person who I've trained works 10 hours, that means the company pays me 20 hours worth. And they were like, oh, okay. And then from that, I got 3 people. So Millen was at the baby shower and she's actually joined. Hi, Millen. I got another contact that has been messaging me, so that's to be continued. And I had somebody else who actually attended one of Millen's launches. So that was sort of the exposure has helped, like, Millen, because she was there and she listened to that, and then you know what I mean. So it sort of comes round in circles. So a lot of the time when I've supported team in like other areas, it's come back round. So like Lux sponsored somebody who I spoke to and prospected at Becca's launch. You know what I mean? So obviously, because each other's network overlaps, it does all come back round. So at the time you might think, oh, nothing came of that, but actually just do your best every single time, because it might come back round in the end anyway.
That's brilliant. Thanks so much, Claire.
All right. Okay, Carol, do you want to say anything? You're the superstar.
I'm desperate to say something. Keep quiet. You're amazing. I'm so happy to be all back together. Caroline was like, should we join together during summer again? I was like, no. I wish I could show everybody the change in you since you started until now. You seriously are like propelling to Region and Beyond. You just talk like a leader, and you actually do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to lead with the business, and that's what you do, and you're just absolutely amazing. It was such good training. So thank you so much.
Well, once I spoke to, like, me and Fiona McCarthy are completely different people, but you've got to respect everyone, aren't you, for who they are and what they bring to the table, and she's obviously amazing. But once I had a coaching call with her, and I said, the thing is though, Fiona, I know that there's other people in my wider team, like in your region, Carol, that are better at bringing in the PQV. Like, I don't do bad, and I'm a lot better now than I used to be, so obviously I've learned skills along the way. But I said to her, like, you know, there's other people that I know, like, smashing it with the QV. And she said, yeah, but Claire, you won't teach a fish how to climb a tree. I went, what? If you have a strength at talking about business, then talk about the business. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to find your strength. I'm not like, there are two sides to the business, and I'd never not do one and just concentrate on the other. Do you know what I mean? We work hard at both sides. But what I'm saying is, like, if you are better at one, then just get even better at that one and do your best in the other. Sorry, I can hear my daughter crying.
100%. I just had to mute because Clara was talking. Like 100%, and none of us are the same. So just do what you love, and continue with it. And you can see I would join your team all over again now if you spoke to me.
Thanks.
But don't think you have to do one way or another. But just like you've done, I completely followed Stuart Armfield, Nicola Wills. I love all them. And I heard Stuart Armfield say once, if you don't know what you're doing on your client page, just find someone you like and copy their posts every day. And I do. I won't tell you who, because we'll all be doing the same. But I just, because they're not following me, so I go onto their Facebook or Instagram and I see what they've put, and then I do a similar post. So just follow the leader. And
that's what I do as well, Carol. Like that is
I
what I
do. You, Gemma.
There is a lady that I literally found somebody who described the business that really resonated with me, because everybody describes the business slightly differently. So I found somebody, because some people are like more fun and some people are a bit more professional and whatever. I found somebody who described it exactly the way that I thought, wow, she's amazing. And then I basically put it in my own words, went to a baby shower, said it, Mill & joined, 2 people wanted to know more info. And it was as simple as that. That's all I did.
Love it. And it's the same with the Discover Arbonne. None of us knew what we were doing at the beginning. None of us knew. My one-to-ones were rubbish. And then I just thought, okay, whose Discover Arbonne do I like? And I listened to it every day for a month until I was almost reciting it. And then when I did a Discover Arbonne, it just rolled off. And every one of us has been at the beginning. You just have to go and do it.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So get goal setting, everybody. I'm excited. So I'll take the pictures of all my scruffy notes. Hopefully you'll be able to read them, and then I'll put them on the Facebook page, the Sutton Houghton Facebook page. Gemma, if you can post the recording of this call, that would be amazeballs. And then if somebody can put in the number, do you have the number, Carol, or Gemma, or anybody that could just pop it in the chat or unmute yourself and just say it for the next
337 600 089. Oh God, I don't know.